Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the latest meeting of the Gold Minds. I am one of your hosts here, the Blunted One. Game four. Game four. Man, what a game. Also, I can't do this by myself. I have my PGM brothers here with me. I got my main man KB, got my main man King, Mr. Playoff, and Zen himself. What up, fellas? How
Yeah,
are
what
we
up?
doing tonight?
It's hashtag Gun Nation.
Trying to catch my breath.
What
What a
a
fucking
game, right?
game.
What a
What a
game.
fucking game, man.
Okay, before we do start this out, I do want to say, everyone here, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Playback TV. We are here, we are live, and we're here to give you the best content that we can. If you don't like it, send us a message, send us a comment so we can go ahead and fix that. Anyways, how's everyone feeling? How were you feeling? I'm gonna be quite honest. I was slightly just a little worried, maybe like just a little bit, because the game started off really, really slow for me. But throughout the game, I started gaining a little bit more confidence because we kept it pretty close. But honestly, like, how are you? How were you guys feeling throughout the whole game? KB, go ahead and grab the mic. How are you feeling throughout the game, brother?
Pretty good, pretty good. Not too bad. Um, Glad that we got the dub. I'm like I said, I got a lot of crow to eat. I was one of those people that was like, "Dog, if I swear to God, if we lose," but we ended up bringing out Lonnie Walker, Lonnie Walker, Lonnie Walker, Lonnie Walker. I can't say his name enough, bro. I talked the most shit out of everyone on him, and yeah, I'm glad to admit I was wrong. Lonnie Walker, you did your thing, bro.
I need to fill out an apology form for Mr. Lonnie Walker. I'm not gonna lie. I gave him some shit in the beginning of the season. I still don't think he's the best defender, but boy, that man's a bucket. What about you, King? How are you feeling? Kind of in the beginning of the game.
So honestly, I was more worried at the end of the game than the beginning, which is weird because the beginning it kind of seemed like we were a little bit going through the motion, and it didn't seem like they were putting their best foot forward. Towards the end is when I kind of got nervous, even though that's kind of when they started to turn it up. The defensive intensities turned up. They were making some couple of players were making some plays where you look at it and you're like, okay, got to make a better decision. But yeah, I mean, throughout the whole game, I try to stay as even keel as I can, but got a little nervous at the end.
Yeah, blood pressures was boiling high, I think, while we're in the playback for sure. What about you, playoff? How are you feeling at the beginning of the game?
I think I said from the beginning that it was going to be a close game. The last two games have been blowouts, and just playing the numbers, just had a feeling it was really going to come down to the last possession. And um, like King said, they really weren't as locked in defensively as they had been in the previous game. D'Lo definitely didn't have his best night. Um, going into halftime, um, when we were down, I think we were down. Um, I was basically saying in the watch party that the difference between this game and the previous game is that D'Lo is not hitting the shots. That's really what it's coming down to. And so, yeah, it not. I wasn't ever really overly concerned,
Mhm.
even when we got down by double digits. But I mean, these are the type of moments you live for as a sports fan, and it was. I would probably say the best playoff game so far in the entire NBA as far as this postseason is concerned. So glad I'm a Laker fan.
I'm a Laker fan, Mikey. Zen, how about you,
Man,
my brother?
this game was a damn roller coaster. Look, we went in. First of all, when we ended the game in the first quarter, um, someone brought up a stat. I think it was Tony, but
Mhm.
someone brought up a stat that hey, if whoever has the lead in the first quarter loses the game, it's like what kind of crap is that? And then we went into the game up by down by three, and then, so you're holding your breath on what the Warriors are going to do in the fourth quarter, and I mean in the third quarter. They won the third quarter by 4 points, and we won the fourth quarter by 10. And the beginning of the game was rough because we were making, you know, while we were watching the game, King, pointed out that we were playing great defense, but we weren't capitalizing on any buckets. So it was rough. It was rough. We were making a lot of missing a lot of shots. Our offense was hot, shitty garbage, and it it was a nerve wracking game. It was a nerve wracking game, no doubt about it. So, um, yeah, it was. Whew, man, nothing has been easy for us this season, and it's another game that proves that.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting game, and that kind of goes off into our little segment that I have here is, and if you want to actually take this off, is what really stood out to you most in this game? Was it just
Um,
Lonnie Walker, or was there something else that stood out?
I think you know what what stood out to me most this game is it has to be Lonnie Walker. Now, KB, he does have to eat a lot of crow because he's constantly talk shit about Lonnie Walker. But I've always had this belief in Lonnie Walker. Not even about him individually. It's just I'm a huge Greg Popovich fan. I'm a huge fan of his system, the longevity of how long of his career and the Spurs legendary run. But there's something about Spurs ex Spurs players where they're the consummate professional. They stay ready. They know how to operate within the offense and find themselves. And I'm talking about guys from like look like if you want to go with DeMar DeRozan, how effective he's been from the Bulls. If you want to look at Kawhi Leonard, if you want to look at guys like role players like Patty Mills, it's usually the role players, that even excel. Um, and they same thing with Lonnie Walker. Like there's been times that he has got overlooked and it was demoralizing, but he did the same thing for us in the Memphis series. When he'll show up that game, he stays ready. Let's go, and he carried us. He carried us to the victory in that second half. He was the MVP of the game. To me, he was the MVP of the game.
Yeah, I think I don't want to speak for everybody, but I want to say as a collective, I believe that's probably what stood out to everyone this game was probably Lonnie Walker and his his just being ready, just coming in and knocking down big buckets that we needed when we kind of thought the game was over. What about you, playoff? What do you think? What stood out to you the most this game?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious, like what Zen said, Lonnie. Just incredible the way he was able to, kind of stay locked in with all the ups and downs he's experienced, so far this season. But in thinking about it, this game, it almost kind of reminded me of Game 7 in the 2016 finals between the Cavs and the Warriors, where it was just a tight game throughout. Neither team really shot that well, and it just really came down to tough shot making in the fourth quarter. And they were just going going blow for blow. I mean, you could clearly see, LeBron's legs weren't there. He was dead tired, but he's so smart that he's able to put people in the right places. And that was key. Even though we were having a tough time in the half court, offensively, um, and AD, man, what the on off allegations. I tweeted out a little while ago. I don't want to hear any more. AD slander will not be tolerated anymore. Um, and I asked in the watch party, how many centers could step out on the perimeter and guard Steph in that possession. And I feel like the answer is there's just one. I feel like AD is one of one. Um, and there's really not anyone else out there that could have defended Steph as well as he did, in that crucial play. Um, so yeah, man, just an incredible game, and glad I was able to witness it and watch it. So
I'm still like thinking about the game and just it was really great. Like, um, there's just so much to take in. Like, I can't even pinpoint like for me what I mean other than Lonnie standing out this game for me. There's too much. Like even Ham made some in game adjustments that I was like, oh okay, that's something different. So there's a lot for me that stood out for me. What about you, King? What stood out for you the most?
Lonnie. Of course, he's everybody's standout. Fifth, I think I heard he scored all his points in the fourth quarter. So 15 in the fourth. A couple of tough shots. That first three that I think he only missed one shot as well. So he played pretty efficient. Another unsung hero and an unsung play. We were down by 4. Austin Reeves came up the court, came off of the screen, and he made a tough two. So that's one play that a lot of people are not going to look at, but that's huge because they were trapping AD late in the fourth quarter, could not get the ball to him. They were having one front them and one behind them, so AD couldn't get the ball. So there was a lot of open shots for the other guys, and Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder, and Lonnie Walker stepped up in that fourth quarter and were taking and making some tough shots. So those three guys really stood out. And then, of course, LeBron and AD's leadership. So,
Yeah, which is a crazy stat here that I'm looking at on. Let me see here. So it's funny how we look at Dennis Schroeder and we're like, yeah, we need him out. We need him out. But when you look at the stat line or when you look at his stats, he's actually a plus 14, and he is the highest plus minus for our team. So other than those two detrimental turnovers, he had a pretty solid game. Some pretty those and that especially in that fourth quarter. Believe he scored, I believe, 4 points, or maybe it might have been 4 or 6. I'm not sure. I
oh,
would have to go back.
Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis.
Yeah, he didn't
Yeah,
score any in the fourth.
it wasn't in the fourth.
It really was Lonnie. Lonnie scored 15 and like Reeves had 4, LeBron had 6, and AD had 1 bucket. It was really Lonnie. He carried us
Yeah, he did carry us in the fourth, man.
that fourth quarter, and he was six
That
for
fourth quarter
nine,
was
so
just
he
wild.
wasn't afraid.
What about you, KB? What stood out to you the most?
What stood out to me the most? How about we look at these free throws? 20 for 20.
Hmm.
20 for 20.
20 for
I
20.
say it again. 20 for 20, man. We did what we were supposed to do with free throws. Lonnie Walker, we can't, like I said, we can't say enough about him. I think he etched himself some playtime over Troy Brown Jr. and Beasley easily, just based on his microwave scoring and what he can get to the rim. He shut my ass up again when it came to him playing defense. He stayed in front, and I mean, he stayed in front of Klay Thompson, in front of Stephen Curry, who's probably the most difficult guard to guard in the series. And he was chasing pretty well as well. So him doing pin down screens for LeBron, let him switch on to Curry and go to work and get to the paint. Those are really, really good things. Like you were saying, Alan, Dennis Schroeder is a plus 14. He played 35 minutes, but I think the box score doesn't really give him enough credit because he played a lot, insanely great defense, coming off screens, getting knocked in the face a bunch of times on illegal screens that caused a lot of offensive fouls. So I thought he did what he was supposed to do.
So it was in the third quarter that he made the 6 points that I'm talking about. It was in the fourth.
Mm.
And man, what about the guards' defense on Steph in
Oh,
the
that's what I was
fourth?
saying. Yeah, Dennis Schroeder,
Steph
he was
went
getting around the
4 for
screens.
11. He went four
Exactly.
for 11 in the
Hmm.
fourth quarter.
One,
And
yep.
we can go to the
That's
stats for the Dubs too. I think
He
Clay
has
Thompson was
one,
oh
2, 3,
that's
4,
tough.
5, 6, 7.
I
Yeah,
guess Dennis Schroeder would say that's tough.
he missed Stephen Curry missed 7 3-pointers in the fourth quarter.
that's big too
Crazy.
because the last shot that Curry took that was that 3 over AD.
Yep.
I thought that was
One,
going in.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 7. He missed 7 and he made 2. The rest were all jump shots or trying to go into the paint, and he missed 3 in the paint. So yeah, and Clay Thompson was kind of off tonight, which he had a actually even last game he was off. He had a, let's see here,
Yeah,
nine
he really
points,
only had one good game. Was the game two.
nine points is
Right.
what kind of Clay Thompson had tonight. So
Right.
I think that's a big that kind of separates the game too. Because if maybe he would have made it a 3 or more, it'd be a different ball game. But
Mm-hmm.
um, hey, we got the dove, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we do talk about Lonnie Walker. He shows up again. What are your thoughts on AD's performance tonight? Um, we can go ahead and start with, let's see here. Let's go with Zen, Mr.
Hey,
AD's number one fan here.
all right. So we're talking about what? We're talking about AD or Lonnie Walker.
I mean, we did a lot of talking about Lonnie
Yeah. So
Walker.
we're talking about AD.
We're
So
talking about AD now.
look, on first take, for folks that are listening. So before Game 4, on first take that morning, there was a graph that on odd number games, so 1, 3, 5, 7, he was a beast, and on even numbers, so like 2, 4, 6, he played like shit. And look, it was to the point where it's like, hey, can AD show up to work 2 days in a row? And guess what? He did it. He was efficient. He was the best player for us. Yeah, Lonnie Walker did the heroics with the scoring, but AD was a beast on defense. Talking about the perimeter defense that he did on Steph at the end of the game, like that was so reminiscent of Kevin Love in Game 7 against Steph at Oracle. Um, his footwork was great. He kept up with Steph. He made it difficult, and he forced Steph to miss the shot. Um, AD LeBron had 27. AD and he had 27, but he took 25 shots. AD had 23, but took it on 16 shots. So for AD to score 4 less points than LeBron, he took 9 less shots. So his efficiency was great. I know you did 10 for 16. He also had 15 rebounds. Look, he was a beast. He was so active on the rebounds. I know there was times that the Warriors were trying to pull him out, so that opened up the lane. But he was active. He was active. He did his thing. We got the win. He was the best player for us. So, hey, my hat's off to Anthony Marshawn Davis Jr.
Never thought I'd hear that.
Yeah.
Hey, never thought I would say it.
Yeah, I thought do we gotta buy him a new motor still?
Hey,
take down the GoPro,
to be
man.
determined. Hey, to be determined. You know,
Okay.
job's not done, but the motor seems to have some more miles on it.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Let's see here. Who do I got next here?
I'll
King.
jump in.
Yeah, King. It's actually you.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with most of the points. AD again, and this isn't nothing new. Defensively, throughout the whole playoff, really throughout the whole year, he's been a beast defensively. He has to be, as far as the anchor goes for us. This game, kind of in the first half, um, offensively, he kind of reminded me. Well, I would say in the first quarter of this game, he kind of reminded me of game two, where him and the rest of the team just seemed like they were sleepwalking, um, almost as if they they kind of have an arrogance that reminds me of Kobe and Shaq days, where they think they have like a switch that they can just flip. So they kind of coast a little bit, kind of try to get everyone else involved. At the same time, gauging basically how the opposing players are going to play. Let's see if Steph Curry is going to be hot tonight. Let's see if Clay is going to be able to shoot. And then just at one point, it's almost as if they go to the huddle and they say, "All right, guys, it's time to go." And everybody just comes together. They form like the power. What's the Power Rangers thing? What's it called when they all form?
Oh,
The Megazord. The
the
Megazord.
Megazord.
The
They
Megazord.
form the Megazord and they just straight destroy everything in front of them. They lock people up.
Shout out
We didn't
GoldMinds.
have a problem defensively throughout the whole game. Their principles were well. They kind of got away from their schemes, even though they were kind of letting some backdoor plays go. There wasn't too many 3 pointers, so we were exchanging twos for twos, which kept us in the game long enough for Dennis and Reeves and Lonnie in the fourth to start to heat up and kind of take the game over. I think this was a cruise game.
I was about to say that.
D'Angelo Russell has to be better. Also, and
Yeah, we'll get
not
to
that he
him
has
here
to
in a
be
second.
better because you're gonna have these type of games. I'm just happy that Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder, Lonnie Walker was able to pick him up and say, you know what? We know you're having a bad game. We got you. And that's the type of game, that's the type of team you want. You want a team where it doesn't have to be them. We all know that for us to win, it has to be LeBron and AD. But outside of that, it could be any one of our players. It could be Rui one night. It could be Lonnie one night. It could be D'Lo. It could be Austin. It could be Beasley. Like we have so many different pieces that could go nuclear at any night. This is a very, very this team has a lot of potential. I think, and I'm not going to get too far ahead in the topic. So yeah, AD was excellent. I give him a plus for this game, defensively and offensively. He was
Yep.
dominant.
Yep. I completely agree with you in Zen. AD, I wouldn't say a masterclass, but he had an excellent game offensively and defensively. He was there. There's a lot of stuff that you don't see on the stat sheet. Hand, just have a hand everywhere, just everywhere defensively, offensively. I would like to see him get more involved in the fourth quarter. I know it's hard because they were kind of sort of double teaming him and one in front and one in behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And then but I would like to see an adjustment where they can see if there's some type of play where we can get him just involved just a little bit more in that fourth quarter or in the second half, because we kind of went away from that in the second half. But overall, AD had a great game. um let's see here. I already went to Zen. Playoff. AD's performance. What you think, brother?
Yeah, I mean, just want to echo what Zen and King said. Um, just a great performance overall. It was a little bit in the, just like you said, it's concerning to me when offense bogs down. Um, we've got to be able. I mean, AD might be our best player offensively, and so especially with LeBron being compromised with his injury. Um, and we have to find. We've heard Darvin say this several times throughout the season. We got to scheme up different ways, more effective ways to get him the ball. And I mean, I think we saw it tonight. There's no way that I'm not sure how many shot attempts he had tonight. It may have just been one in the fourth quarter, but we've got to be able to get him the ball. Especially in clutch moments. So um, but you never have to question his defensive his defensive effort normally. That was all there, and especially locked in on defense in the fourth quarter. But yeah, gotta gotta be able to get him the ball, and scheme up more efficient and effective ways to get him the ball. So
Yeah, man. His LeBron said it towards the in his post game that the league knows that AD is the best defender in the league. So NBA knows it. Everyone knows it. So KB, what you think, man?
I'm thinking that AD is the main focal point of our team, offensively and defensively. Um,
I think we lost KB. All right. We'll get back to him here in just a second.
I'm back.
So,
Okay.
okay, there you are.
Oh my God. Sorry. Connection
That's okay.
issues. But no, I think, like I was saying, I think AD is the best focal point for both of our offense and defense, our best player that we need at a high clip. As you could see in the game today, and especially I think throughout playoffs, sometimes we kind of get into the hype of trying to score a bucket for a bucket instead of playing our own offense. For example, LeBron James took not even close needed three to try to close the game out when we just needed a two. And that kind of like, made my heart stop. My chest was kind of tight that whole entire 4 minutes of that fourth quarter. I don't know about everybody else, but then again, I was wrong because, like I said, I was wrong about a lot of things. So, um, yeah, I think AD did what he was supposed to do, and if we want to close this game out in SF, he needs to get the ball and he needs to be involved in a lot of the offensive plays. If they're gonna go small like they did, I really, I really suggest we against that, and we just go ahead and play our game. We have to make them beat our game. We don't play to theirs. So that's where I'm at with that when it comes to AD's performance. Dominant. Even if he did only score 15 points, you can see the impact he made on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, so
Wait,
that what? Wait,
but
what?
AD scored 23,
Yeah,
not
he had
15.
23. Yeah, AD had 23, 15. Believe it or not, he didn't have any blocks tonight, which
That's
is kind
funny.
of yeah, which is weird
So weird.
because yeah, I mean it feels like he might have had like 3 or 4, but he had no blocks tonight.
What's even weirder is there was only 3 total blocks in the whole game.
Yep,
mm, I know
Two for
LeBron.
them and one for us.
I
yep,
know LeBron got one. He got one on staff. I can't
yep.
remember
Yeah,
now.
like it was a lot of, I don't know. It was kind of a funny game.
Yeah, it was different. It has a lot of. It kind of reminds me of Game One a little bit. Just a lot more defense in Game One though. Like even on both sides, like it was the defense was just kind of off on both sides of the court. So it was I don't know. Bringing up my next segment here. What are your guys' thoughts about Darvinham's adjustments tonight and his in-game adjustments? Because I believe he made a couple of them.
You
And
talking
we could
about
go.
in? Yeah. What
Yeah,
order?
Go ahead, Ted.
Look, the Darvin, I thought he really when the Warriors were pulling AD out, so they can open up the lane. In the first half, I thought he did a tremendous job of you know counteracting that, responding to that adjustment. But he called on Lonnie Walker's number, and it was the right call. And if he didn't call on Lonnie Walker's number, I don't think we win the game. So to me, I'm perfectly fine with what he did. Also, I want to say this. Now we know in game two, the Steve Kerr pulled an okey doke with that, Kevon Looney is sick type of thing, and we got the legendary Kevon Looney flu game. The fact that that Steve Kerr tried to pull that again, and by announcing the starting lineup 3 hours in advance, which is odd, he stayed steady. He gave everyone a shorter leash. If you're not producing, all right, cool, go sit on the bench. And I was fine with his performance and his in-game adjustments.
Yeah, I was definitely fine with his in-game adjustments. It does seem like though he kind of let the leash off a little on Dennis, but Dennis had a semi decent. I think he had a semi decent game. But the with the Lonnie Walker minutes though, and not playing Rui, and who else did he play? He cut someone. Oh, and D'Lo. He also kind of cut D'Lo's minutes for not, producing what he should be. So those in game adjustments and calling Lonnie's numbers, I'm perfectly fine with. What about you, playoff?
Yeah, man. I mean, Lonnie being the major one, but just having, everybody knows that we acquired D'Lo in the trade. Um, it's in the Lakers' best interest to re-sign him after the season, whether that's to from an asset management perspective or whether we plan on building with him. We need to re-sign him, and he's not restricted, so he can freely go wherever. And so, I mean, he had a bad game. Shot 1 for 10. Um, and considering the situation, taking into factoring in free agency looming, um, not every coach would be willing to bench him in a major moment like that because you don't necessarily know how he's going to respond to that. Um, but it was exactly what the team needed tonight. Because he just didn't have it, and I think he'd be the first one to admit that. I'm sure. Um, and we said throughout this whole season, how deep this team is, and so we got to see it was perfectly on display tonight with Lonnie stepping in. I mean, also too, and we had seen him use a 3 guard lineup, throughout the year. Uh, Sometimes it's been effective, other times it hasn't. Some people hate, when he goes to the three guard lineup, but having Dennis, Austin, and Lonnie in there, to work with Braun and AD, it was exactly what we needed to get the job done tonight. And so I'm interested to see if there's any. I don't think there will be any changes, but I'm interested to see if he does decide to do any type of tinkering to the starting lineup. Especially with Kerr, making that GP2 adjustment. Um, but yeah, I mean, people complain about Ham quite a bit, but I feel like he's holding up his end of the bargain. Kerr he's a really good coach, and for him to be even in the same vicinity, especially being a rookie coach, it's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, it's like we've been as Lakers fans, we've been talking about Ham and his in-game adjustments, how they're kind of up and down. What is he gonna do? Is Troy Brown gonna play? Why is Malik in? Why is this guy in? And for him to come out and put Lonnie out there and to actually work, it's for me, it's like maybe he's been holding out on us, and maybe he is a good coach after all. So Ham, yeah, he outcoached Kerr tonight, and Kerr is a master coach. So good on him. I applaud him. What do you think, King? What do you think about Darvin Ham's in-game adjustments?
Oh, um, yeah, they were good. He and the thing I like about it is, so I don't look at him as an in-game adjustment coach or in-game adjustment
Oh no, he's
coach.
not. Definitely not.
Normally, to me, he's a game to game. So he needs film. He needs 2 3 quarters to see. Okay, this is what the team's doing. I can do this to counteract it. He did some good things tonight. I think I said before the series started, this isn't going to be a Rui and Vanderbilt series. Can't be. They have too many guards. They play their guards so much. Those guys are so big that getting around those screens are going to be hard for them. So I didn't really expect, especially Rui. Rui can't really guard anybody because they're gonna hunt him. No matter even if he's on Wiggins or he's on Draymond, he's gonna get hunted for a switch. They're gonna put him on Curry. They're gonna put him on Clay. And even if they're not off the dribble, they're gonna run them around some screens, and he is going to get lapped. So it was a good adjustment. He tried Rui for a second. Um, Rui couldn't take advantage of Steph Curry or Klay Thompson on the offensive end, so he said, "You know what? Go sit down." Vanderbilt, same thing. Vanderbilt could not take advantage of some of his possessions offensively. He said, "Go sit down. Let's let Lonnie work. Let's let Austin. Let's let Dennis. D'Lo didn't have it tonight. Go sit down." We were getting kind of torched on backdoors due to the fact that Steph Curry, smart as he is, was using AD's man in screen roll action, and AD had to step way too high.
Mm-hmm.
So I think an adjustment I saw in the third quarter, middle of the third quarter, is AD was switched on to Wiggins. Wiggins is not using screen action because Wiggins is not a screener. So it kind of let AD play back a little bit more, and he was able to actually protect the paint. And if you get the ball to Wiggins, he's not gonna close that hard on Wig, even though I think they should. Um, so that was a good adjustment. Switching your matchups, also making sure that you're not playing guys that is not a strong suit for this series. Rui and Vando were excellent against Memphis. They're not going to work against Golden State. I expect to see the same type of diet for them in Game 5. Hopefully, we close them out. But yeah, I think that's what you're going to see, the same thing. A lot of guard play.
Yeah, which is weird because, and not so weird with Rui, but weird with Bando because he had a really, really good game in Game 1,
Right.
and we kind of haven't seen that since Game 1. So for Darvin to make that adjustment and be like, you know what, Bando, this is not your series.
Right.
We'll sit down and we'll get you back. Your number will be called soon. Which I thought is really interesting because again, Game 1, he had a phenomenal defensive game against Curry. So,
Mm-hmm.
it, I applaud Darvin Ham. I did want to touch some bases on something. I believe it was Playoff who kind of was bringing up the conversation. What are y'all thoughts of D'Angelo Russell? Playoff, you want to go ahead and start that off since you kind of were talking about it earlier. What are your thoughts on D'Angelo?
I just think he didn't have it tonight. I mean, he came up big for us in game 5 and 6 in the Memphis series. He was great in game 3 for us against the Warriors, and it was just a bad night. It happens sometimes, and I don't think it should be held against him or anything like that. The most important thing is we came out with the win. I think that LeBron and AD have kind of set a tone as far as the leadership goes, where everyone understands that they have a role to play. Um, you're not necessarily going to meet the expectations every night. Um, but you need to stay ready. And if it's not your night, be happy for the next man that's able to come in and help bridge the gap. And so, I'm expecting nothing, but I'm sorry, professionalism from him in that regard. And I think that their eyes are there's a bigger prize ahead, and that's potentially being able to play for an NBA championship. So like I said, chalk it up to a bad game and you move on to the next one. I expect them to bounce back in a big way. We'll need him in Game 5 if we're going to win there. It's he's going to be a crucial part of that. So
Yeah. What about you, KB? What you think about D'Angelo Russell in the game tonight?
Pretty much just like playoff said. I mean, he did what we needed him to do in other crucial games that we needed to get to this 3-1 lead. He didn't have it tonight. That's because you have a pest and GP2 literally face guarding him the whole entire time, even off switches, so he could barely get off those screens. But then again, you know what? He has to be held accountable. He has to be more aggressive coming off snake screens, just snaking the screen like he always used to, and looking for a shot. I think tonight he realized tonight wasn't his night, so he kind of gave it up. But he needs to force the issue sometimes. For me, I think a lot of the times I was watching the game. I was watching like a little clip of it, and it kind of looked like sometimes where he takes the three. Some people I've seen on the I've seen reactions from people on the timeline saying no, don't take it. Those are the threes we need D'Lo to take. If they're wide open, let him take them. If he misses them, it's cool. This is why we got him. So I think D'Lo just had an off game tonight, but then again, he realized who was actually stepping up, and that was Lonnie, that was Reeves, that was AD, LeBron. Help the helper. That's what basketball is. It's a team sport.
I have one thing to say about D'Angelo Russell. I like the guy. I love him as a player, but I need more consistency from him in the playoffs. That's all I'm gonna say. Zen,
Man, fuck
what
him.
you got? What you got?
Fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck
Whoa.
him. Fuck him. Look, um, since the post regular season, because I don't know where the play in falls under. The For the play in game, he played like hot shit. And then since the play in, we have played in 10 playoff games. What? He has had what? Two, maybe three good games out of 10? And this is the person that wants over 30 million next year? No. Fuck him. Get Kyrie, get someone else. Um, you know, he's too inconsistent. Yeah, he's too inconsistent. Yeah, we're talking about GP2 locking him up. What, GP2 is what, a $7 million player? So the $7 million player is going to take the $30 million player out of the game? No, D'Angelo Russell can kick rocks and get his, enjoy the rest of the season with us, and yeah, get the fuck out of here next season. Like he is too inconsistent. He has not earned a contract. He has not earned that money that he wants for next season. He has not. No one can tell me he has earned it since he's been a Laker. He has not. He has
I
not.
don't think so. I
So
don't think he's earned it
too
either.
inconsistent. Now, if he says, "Hey guys, you know what? I want 30, but since I show up, you know, once every, 3 or 4 games, I'll accept 10." Then yeah, we can talk. But no, fuck D'Angelo Russell. No, fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck him.
I see Zen has his target set on somebody new now. So
Hey, as long as it's not on AD, I'm good. Because the AD was, yeah. I'm gonna agree with Zen, man. Like I said it, like that's the only thing that I have to say about D'Angelo Russell. Like I like him as a player and stuff, but he's just been way too inconsistent in these playoffs. Like we get him every other like 3 or 4 games. So like if he wants a bag, like he wants a bag, like he hasn't shown me either that he deserves a bag. So
I mean, there definitely needs to be a baseline of, and I've said this before, but with the money that he's making currently and the money he's expecting to continue to make, there needs to be a baseline of consistency on a nightly basis. And it's not asking for much. I mean, if he gets to 17, 18, 19, 20 points, it takes so much pressure off of LeBron and AD. Especially if he's hitting the shots from the perimeter, especially three from the 3 point line. So yeah, like I said earlier, it was a disappointing performance. But the most important thing is we got the win, and um, honestly, I don't really I don't feel like a Kyrie sign and trade is the best move. I can see why people think that. But I think what goes into that also is what we would lose in order to have to make that work. And as y'all can see, the depth on this team is one of the things that have kind of helped us get to where we are at this point. And I would hate for all that to be squandered by trying to get Kyrie on this team. But we're far away from that though. We're a win away from the conference finals, and that's what matters most. And I think that needs to be the focus.
So the D'Angelo slander.
Hey, I didn't slander him.
Now, when you
The
say
person,
D'Angelo slander, are you talking about his play or what is being said
the
about him?
person I'm talking to knows who I'm talking to. So if we actually look at his numbers, he's averaging 15 and a half points, 6 assists, 43% shooting, 35% from three. So we look at the down games, and everybody's gonna have a down game. I get the inconsistent part. Um, it's hard to be consistent when you're on a team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. If you can find one player that's ever been consistent next to those two guys, just tell me.
AR-15. He's only had
He's
like he's not. If you look at his whole entire season, he's been the most consistent again with LeBron and Anthony Davis the
wait.
whole season. He's
So
had like 3 or 4 stinkers this whole season.
I want to
Look
look
at
at
it.
his. I want to
But
look
look
at
at it.
his. I want to look at his playoff stats,
He's
because
had
that's
like
the
two
only
two.
thing that matters to me right
He's
now.
had like 2 bad games, maybe 3.
So let's see.
I mean,
Stat sheet.
This was his first good game in the
This is
series tonight.
Right. So that's where it's hard, because it's hard to measure what we're calling a good game from certain type of players. So Austin Reeves is averaging pretty close to what D'Angelo is. 15, about 15 points a game.
you're talking about
Four
a second year
assists.
player.
He's at 42% and about 35% from three. So they're pretty even, and that's what you're gonna get from players, role players, next to those guys. Then you're not going to get guys that are going to be consistent 24, 25 point scores, 20 point scores. It's not going to happen, because there's going to be some nights where AD might be cooking and you're not going to get that many shots. LeBron might be cooking. You're not going to get that many shots. So you're not going to be able to get that rhythm. You're not going to be able to shoot the ball in spots you want to shoot it. You're not going to be able to shoot the ball at certain times. So yeah, I mean, we could look at it and say, okay, the $30 million is going to be too much. All right. I mean, I guess if you want to say so, 26, 27, the market is going to dictate what D'Angelo Russell asks for. D'Angelo could, because like Playoff was saying, this guy is a unrestricted free agent. So he does not have to stay with us, right? He can leave and go get $30 million from the Detroit Pistons or the San Antonio Spurs. They'll pay him that money because he's that good. But if we want to keep him, we have to come close to his number. And I think we want to keep him, because you can keep talking about getting Kyrie Irving, but let me ask you a question. Did Kyrie Irving make the playoffs this year? That's all I gotta say.
Did Kyrie Irving ever what?
Did Kyrie Irving make the playoffs this year?
Well, no. His team
Okay.
did not actually no. The team that he played most of the season on made the playoffs.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. What team did D'Angelo Russell get traded from?
Minnesota.
Was that team in the playoffs?
Yep, that team went to the playoffs.
Okay.
Yep, and guess what? Kyrie has done it when it counts. Yeah, Kyrie has done it when it counts. So D'Angelo Russell, he has not.
I got you. Okay. We'll
All
talk
right, all
about that
right.
another
We
time.
gotta that we're gonna have to pocket that one for another meeting with the GoldMinds talk here, maybe in the off season. Uh, I am on Zen's side. I'm not maybe not fuck him, but if he wants that money, we're gonna need a little bit. We're gonna need
Fuck him.
we're gonna need more consistency from him.
Well, this is a proven fact for the both of you guys, though. Without D'Lo, we wouldn't be in this position.
Exactly. Thank you, KB.
So, what do you think about D'Angelo Russell there, KB?
I think that he will be a Laker next year. We can keep saying fuck him, but it's we need him, so it's kind of hard to look at the market on who we can get, but what are we giving up in return? So getting Kyrie Irving means we're going to be losing a lot of our gems. Keeping D'Angelo Russell, maybe not signing him to what he thinks he's going to get, but I think LeBron James and AD will be able to give him a good like have a good conversation with him saying, Doc, if you take this much, we can sign these kind of players with us. We can re-sign these amount of players so we can have our returning roster coming back to the fold. If he tries to sign for that max deal and we lose him, it's going to be kind of hard trying to picture who will be the starting point guard. Um, that can do what he,
Austin Reeves will be the starting.
Austin Reeves could be the starting point guard, but it's kind of hard to seeing him start off the rip. If you guys understand what I'm saying, I like him as a 2, but as a 1, it's kind of hard seeing him do it. But could he do it? I believe he could. But we're talking in the future. Let's talk about what we're doing right now, and we're up 3-1, y'all, and we got a game on Wednesday.
So here's my problem kind of with your guys' argument. You got a 2-year sophomore that is putting the same numbers up as how many years has he been in the league?
7.
7-year vet who wants 30 million next year. Should we give Austin 30 million? Y'all are gonna say no. So.
No, I wouldn't.
I mean,
Austin has proven that we need to keep him long term. So if that's what it takes to sign him long term,
You're gonna give him 30 million though?
yeah, 4 million. What's it called for 30 million? How much would that be though? Wouldn't that be like?
No, I mean I think Russell wants. I think I don't know exactly the numbers, but he wants damn near a super max or the max that he can get.
Right.
I think he's go ahead, KB.
He's
sorry.
demanding a bag. Like he wants a bag.
Right. I'm gonna say this. I think Tyus Jones gets the bag way before D'Angelo Russell does. I'll say that.
And I think that's what the problem is like again, you have a sophomore player who's a lot younger, putting the same numbers as a 7-year vet that's demanding the bag. I mean, like it's in this terms to me, it's all about the money. So like,
yeah,
and that's where my problem is with the consistency with D'Angelo Russell. So like, it's kind of like
when you do that, the comparative of players, you always have to look at what's going on in the system. So Jordan Poole just signed a contract that's paying him 4 years, $32 million per year. Is he worth that contract?
No,
the guy had 0 points tonight. He was 0 for 4.
That's a Dub Nation. That's a Dun Nation problem.
Right,
That's the
but
problem.
there, if you honestly, if you scour the league, there's so many guys out there that's making 25, 30,
Okay,
35 million
but you
dollars.
know
It's
what?
not worth it.
But here's the difference, King. Jordan Poole, yes, he's playing like shit now, but he earned based upon what he did last offseason. Last season, and especially in the playoffs, he earned that contract. My thing is, based upon what D'Angelo Russell has done for us this season, he hasn't earned the money that he's seeking.
Yep. That's basically what I'm saying too. I don't think we should give him what he's trying to seek. He's
I
gonna
think
have to there's gonna have to be a number that like he's gonna have to come. I don't even think somewhere in the league that they give him anywhere near what he's looking for either. I don't think there's a team out there, not a
Well,
playoff team.
how about this? This is a good problem to have going into the offseason. I'll say that much.
yeah,
With the kind of
exactly.
roster we have and with the young pieces that we have, this is a good problem to have. We lose D'Angelo Russell, but we have so many options after him. So
So look,
yeah,
just a quick point of reference to exactly what Zen just said. How much did I say D'Angelo Russell's averaging this year?
You said 15 in the playoffs.
15 and a
15.
half. How much you think Jordan Poole averaged last year in the playoffs?
17 points.
17 points. And he got $32 million per year.
Yeah.
Yep.
How old is Jordan Poole again?
Was he 24, 25?
He's young.
20,
So
No,
he
he's, I think
hasn't
he's.
I think
earned
I
he's
that.
think he's
23.
younger than that.
So
I think
that's
he's
even
23.
worse. So he
Yeah,
hasn't
that's
earned it.
That's not worse.
You got a veteran. You have a veteran who's put time in, who's
Teams don't
proven.
look to
know
play
about
older
this guy.
players.
Huh?
Teams don't look to play. Teams don't look to pay older players. Jordan Poole's young, so they're paying for his future, not for. They're paying for his future and for what
The
he produced,
potential.
the potential. That's what they're paying for.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Does
so
D'Angelo Russell really have that much more potential than what he has now?
he's
Oh,
only 26 years old.
he's
He's
very
actually
young.
he's
Yes.
27.
Well, 27,
So
but I still
and
think he does have the. I'd
he'll
say
sign a
yes.
contract that's probably going to be 3, maybe 4 years. So you get him till he's 30, 31 years old.
And I'd rather deal with that than deal with Dennis Schroeder. I'll
I'm
tell you
just
that
saying.
right
So
now.
when you compare like a Jordan Poole who just got 30, and that's where I'm coming from with the numbers. It's a market. It's just the market is what dictates what you pay these players. Because if you look at your top level point guards, they're somewhere around 45 to 50 million dollars a year. If you look at your bottom point guards, they're somewhere around 15 to 18 million. So you have to put D'Angelo Russell somewhere in the middle. And that's somewhere between 27 to 32 million. Somewhere he's going to get somewhere in that area. So, I mean, again, and tonight, 1 for 10, he did not have a good showing. But we have to go back to the previous game. He had what, 31? Like, we could
He
go to
went
game 5.
bonkers.
He can
He
come out
went
there and
bonkers.
score 28 in a closeout game. So we kind of do sometimes take it like we kind of go from up, down, and we can't do it as a fan base, do that. Because we have to understand that sometimes these guys just are going to have bad games. I mean,
And the last thing I'll say on this is he's already making, and we inherited his contract, but he's making $31 million this year.
I think he's at
So
27. He's at 27.
when I looked at,
no, I think he's at 30 this year.
yeah, he's at 31 some change. But and I mean, realistically, there's no way he's going into free agency, and he's not thinking he's going to take less on a per year basis. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
I'll tell
he
you
is
that.
at 31.
I'll tell you that right now. So,
Right.
and it would be really, just to reiterate this, it would be really, really poor asset management to let him walk. So, I think there'll be some sort of compromise, and I think too we have to keep in mind, um, he was inherited at the trade deadline. I think maybe they played somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 some odd games together now. So, you know, um, I think they're still adjusting to playing with each other.
Mhm.
It doesn't excuse the performance. 1 for 10, but it was just an off night. I mean, he took the same. It's not like he was the same shots that he made last game.
He took tonight
He took tonight. They just didn't go down. So,
at all. Yeah.
like I said, my focus is that we're one win away from the conference finals, and
That's it.
we got the win tonight. That's all I care about. So
Right. And my thing is, for me, I'm willing to deal with those type of games that he has if he can make up with the games that he had with the 31, with the 28, with the 21. You know what I mean? Like with games like that, just because he ain't doing it on a consistent basis, that's fine. But it's okay to have those type of games when you don't have players like LeBron and AD. If LeBron and AD weren't there, then I can see why we're jumping on his helmet. But LeBron and AD are there. So we don't depend, if anything, if we're being real, the only thing we had to depend on D Russell to do, possibly 16 to 17 points a game. Possibly. That's it. That's
that's
not even
all.
asking for a lot.
That's all we need.
That's it.
That's all we
And
need.
he's a role player. That's it. He's a role player. Starting point guard, but he's a role
I think he needs to be the third best player on the court.
player.
That's just my
I know.
opinion.
I know. I'm just saying, but based on how Reeves has been, I thought he'd be the third best player. But we could be, yeah, that's true. He needs to be as much money
Yeah,
as he's making.
yeah. It's down to the it's really down to the money. Like he needs to if he wants 30 plus million for 4 years for 4 more years, he needs to be the third best player on that court. But anyways, we digress with D'Angelo Russell. I do want to go into our last final topic here. How do we feel about the Lakers closing out and chasing Game 5? Let's go with King.
I think they get it done. I think they. I think they sense that. I was talking to Jeremiah earlier on the timeline. I think they sense the urgency that this isn't the team that you play with. This isn't the team that you okay. We could let them get a game and rest up and get them in Game 6. No, you need to come out. They're wounded right now. There's a little bit of infighting. I'm seeing stuff talking about Jordan Poole was mad, talking, just running his mouth to reporters. Steph Curry's mad about how he's being used. Steve Kerr's talking about flopping by the players and stuff. So there's a little bit of turmoil right now. We need to take advantage of that. Step, I'm not going to say it. We need to make sure that we do not let this team back up off the mat. They're down. We hit them with a nice right hook. We put them down on the mat. Right now, they're probably in the middle of that 8 count, trying to get back up. We need to make sure they don't get back up. That's it. Lights out. On to the Western Conference Finals. I think we close them out.
Mm.
I'm cautiously optimistic. I think it could be done, but it's going to be a real battle. What you think, Zen?
Oh, I don't like this game for us. Closeout. We're talking about. It's not just a typical closeout game. We would be essentially ending a dynasty, and that's not hyperbole because we know with the new CBA and especially with Clay and Draymond, becoming going to be free agents or um, potentially become free agents. It's going to be a lot of changes in Dub Nation. This would definitely they lose in the second round. That means there's a lot of things that they need to fix to move forward. So we're talking about a closeout game at home could end this historic decade that they had. 8-9 year stretch, however you want to call it. I don't see us getting the W. I don't feel good about us getting the W. Because look, it's not even about the team itself. We have LeBron and AD. They both played 43 minutes, and they're going to go off a 1 day's rest. I I see us being in a position where if we start off sluggish, if we go into the halftime with a deficit, they might just throw in the towel to say, "All right, get ready to wrap this up in 6 at home." Um, so yeah, the guys put a lot of minutes, and LeBron, he's aging by the game, and that 43 minutes that to turn around, less than 2 days later, I'm not feeling so confident about it. That crowd is going to be crazy. They're going to get some hometown calls. I think we wrap this up at home in front of our fans. So that's how I'm
Well,
feeling.
I
Five.
think 12. I think 12 of those minutes he was just standing around not doing nothing. So, and also,
Very true. Very true.
so wait, since you don't think we're gonna win, right here on YouTube,
Oh
Here we
God.
go.
let's make a wager. I'm not gonna. I'm you. I know what you guys think I'm gonna do, but I'm not gonna do.
Go ahead. Okay.
Oh
What?
my
What?
god.
All right. What's the wager?
What's the
It's
wager?
an Avi bet. Like
Okay.
we'll be
Okay. What's the bet? What's the bet?
we're gonna Avies will be changed. We'll
Okay.
we'll decide we'll decide the changing of the Avi tomorrow. I gotta sleep on it.
So wait. What's the bet though?
Oh, I'm confident that the Lakers are closing them out on Wednesday.
Okay. So you say Lakers win. I say Lakers lose, and then
Hmm.
and then okay. So here. Okay. It's a glutton for punishment. No problem.
Do you have an Avi idea already, Zen, or you want to wait till tomorrow?
I have an Avi. I have an Avi idea.
Oh
What's your
no,
Avi
no, the Avi idea. Only thing you're gonna do, Alan, is just add the word "still."
idea? Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
All right, I got you. Braun and AD masterclass.
All right,
All
here
right.
we go. We'll see. We'll get into it.
All right. So we heard from King. We heard from Zen. Playoff. What you think, man?
I mean, like Zen said, I mean, he really already kind of went into a lot of the points I was going to say, but they're going to be fighting for more than just their playoff lives. It's the changes that are on the horizon potentially. Draymond with the whole the incident before the season began, punching Jordan Poole. What does that dynamic look like in the off season? Um, I personally don't think that Draymond is going to be on their squad next year. Um, it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds. So I think they're going to come out, you know, and just really really on fire because of everything that's at stake. Um, I don't think it's impossible that we win on their home floor in Game Five because LeBron has the blueprint. He's done it before with higher stakes on the line. So, but I think the defensive effort is going to have to be a lot higher than it was tonight in order for that to happen. And D'Lo is going to have to play a lot better in order for it to even be remotely possible. So it can be done, um, but like I said, we're going to have to come out with match the intensity that the Warriors for sure are going to be playing with. And I think um, it can go one of two ways. Either the game stays close and they win a tight game like they did tonight in the fourth quarter, or they come out legs are a little bit tired, not able to really hit their shots from distance, and we just punch them in the mouth and take their hearts. Um, so it'll. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, like I said, I think it's possible. Um, we'll just have to see how it all goes.
My brother from another mother, KB. What you feeling?
So, King, I don't know why you like to take these bets, but you do what you got to do, bro. Um, when it comes down to it, I am very hopeful we will win. Two key reasons. One, the Warriors' best shooters played over 40 minutes. Two, I think this loss did kind of crushed them because they gave us their best shot, I believe. I mean, they didn't have their best shooting night, but that was probably Curry's best performance in the playoffs as of like this year, and he still couldn't close it. Um, so, and then another good point I'm going to use is this. I don't know if you guys listened to that interview that LeBron did with Chris Haynes in detail, but he did say he remembers exactly that how they were up 3-1 against the Memphis Grizzlies. And he said the Warriors ain't the Grizzlies. So if it's gonna be a time to close it out, it's gonna be that Wednesday. Because I kid you not, if they win that game in SF, they're gonna be riding very high because they have nothing to lose coming to beat us at our house. I'd rather crush them at home, send them packing, and get LeBron rest. And LeBron kind of hinted that he might be tired of shit, but he wants to get that rest. And I think beating the Dubs that Wednesday will give him that couple of days of rest he needs, regardless who he goes against, the Suns or the Nuggets, whatever. But I think that'll be the best chance for him to do so. So I think we do close it out on Wednesday. I'm hopeful that we do. But if we don't, we did buy ourselves enough cushion to come home and play.
Yeah. Um I I don't think it's impossible to win Wednesday, but it's gonna be like again, it's gonna be a real battle. Like a bat like I mean like a fuck it's gonna be a fucking battle. And I agree with Zen. I could see if there is a large if there's a large lead that they have, I could see them kind of throwing the white flag earlier than what we expect to get our stars rest for Game 6, so we can close it out on our home floor. Um, I I don't have a I don't have like a idea. I know we close it in 6, but I don't know if we close it in 5. I think it's possible though. So that's kind of my thoughts. Where I'm kind of in the middle right now still. Um,
Yeah,
Okay.
It's tough
it's tough.
because
Yeah,
you
it's
have
really tough. Like
yeah.
it's like we can definitely do it, but we need. It's not even that we need AD to show up. We and or like we need. It's really gonna fall upon like if D'Lo shows up, if Freeze shows up, hell, even if Schroedery shows up. Like it's all these other guys. They all need to start showing up. Hell, it's gonna even be Vando. Like even if we can get like Vando to show up a little bit. When the bench comes in from like Rui, Lonnie, like all these guys need to show up for Game 5 for us to close out. Like it has to be like it has to be the most perfect game for us to. I feel like to win because Warriors they have everything to lose. So
I'm just
like
saying it seems like a fairy tale ending for the Lakers if they can knock them out at the Dubs house
yeah.
and then just watch them go home
It's like
at
what Zen
home.
said. It's a ending. We're ending a dynasty right now.
Yeah, and I think
Like
LeBron kind of he feels that too. I know he does.
so like they have nothing to lose, but they also have everything to lose. So
And this
they're
is this is the last thing I'll add since we are on YouTube. I guarantee
We
Lakers will
lost,
win
bro.
game 5.
Oh, thank
We
you. He
fuck.
just
lost.
did the work for me. Perfect. Thank
Fuck,
you.
man, we
Thank
fucking
you.
Lakers
lost.
in
What is
5.
wrong with you?
It's
Yeah,
going
thank
six
you.
games. It's going
What
six
is
games,
wrong with
guys.
you? Yeah, it's going to get 6 games.
We're
If
fucking
you
going
guys
six
didn't know,
games. Fuck.
anybody who is following us, the time he is 0 and
Steph
2 doing that.
Curry, chicken
He,
curry, curry chicken,
oh
Lakers
god,
in 5.
I got a stat for y'all before we close it out.
stat, what's up?
Lonnie Walker is the first Lakers bench player to score 15 plus points in the fourth quarter in a playoff game since who? I'll give y'all a guess.
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant, 26 years ago today.
Damn. No, that's got to
Talk,
be,
That's
bro.
talk
cold,
about,
man.
talk about
That's
poetic.
that's fucking
Yeah,
cold.
that has to be a sign, bro. I think they close it in 5, bro.
Talk
I
about
really
poetic.
do.
He
Yeah.
had that mama jersey on.
They
Lakers
got
in
to, man.
5.
I respect that. Lakers.
All righty, guys. Well, we've been on here for an hour and 15 minutes. If you do guys like what we are creating here at the meetings of the Gold Mine, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also follow us here on our Playback TV at what was it called again? Zen? It's we because we just changed the name. I believe it's going to be
Well, as of
PGM.
now, it's TGM Live, Playback TV, playback.tv / PGM Live. And then follow us on Twitter, Purple Gold Mines. And please check out our daytime lake show, 10:55 West Coast time, AM.
Yep. All right, guys, that's the end of our show. I appreciate you guys for coming on. Peace.
Deuces.
Just